Hey everybody, Kuroda, Rob here. How's it going, everybody? So I've been thinking a lot about Nintendo's 2020 recently, and like what's actually going to happen as far as their 2020, because as we all know now, it is the beginning of February, and a lot of people by now expected to have a Nintendo Direct, which there hasn't been. And as far as we know, I mean, there really isn't like a ton that's been revealed for 2020 by Nintendo. And I just can't help but wonder like what their plans are for 2020. I basically wanted to just do a little speculating myself and just a little kind of prediction video, I guess, of what's in store for Nintendo and the Switch in 2020. In light of just there not really being any information out recently, unfortunately. I know I am, like probably a lot of you are, just really kind of jonesing for a Nintendo Direct at this point, which I think is coming very soon. We've had a Pokemon Direct, we've had an Indie Direct, but we haven't had a full-blown, huge Direct that just goes over everything Nintendo is planning to do. So, that being said, I thought it would be fun to do this video, and I'm going to go run through real quick what kind of some of the things that Nintendo has already confirmed and just what's been kind of circulating around the internet rumor-wise, and then just kind of get into my own predictions. So thought it'd be kind of fun. Let's do it, guys. So as far as games go, I just want to talk about what games have been confirmed as of right now. So the big ones that we know about are Animal Crossing, Xenoblade, the remake of Xenoblade, Bravely Default 2, and No More Heroes 3, which were both revealed during the Game Awards. And then we have a couple other little things like Trials of Mana, and we have like Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles coming out. But as far as like big mainline Nintendo IPs, there's really been very little. Like I said, just Animal Crossing, and there has been the DLC announced for Pokemon Sword and Shield. And we're going to have the Fighter's Pass from the second Fighter's Pass for Smash. And we also have the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games coming out in March. So, I don't know, to me that leaves kind of like a big wide hole as far as releases throughout the year. So, before I get into what my predictions are and just go over a few rumors, I want to talk about like kind of a few other little things about the Nintendo Switch itself before I go into my actual predictions for the games. So first of all, one of the huge rumors that's been going around for quite a few years now is that there's going to be an upgraded Switch or a Switch Pro or just a more powerful Switch in general. As of a few days ago, that's actually been deconfirmed by Nintendo themselves that they have no plans to release any new Switch hardware in 2020. So a lot of people are saying that this is the, nail in the coffin for the Switch Pro, at least for this year, but I seem to recall them saying something similar, although I think the phraseology they used was a little different, but they did say something last year. And I mean, it doesn't really make any sense that Nintendo would just confirm that before they actually plan to announce it, So I think it's still possible. I just think that was a bit of a blow to a lot of people who were really hoping for it and like kind of expecting a Switch Pro. My thoughts on that are that really, I think that Nintendo would be stupid of them not to do a Switch Pro at some point. Whether it comes now or whether it comes, a year from now, I think especially for even more third-party support and getting bigger AAA games onto the Switch and ported to the Switch, I think that they need to do it. I would love to see a Switch Pro. I don't know if it's something I would personally buy for myself, at least not right away. But it would be great for Nintendo themselves to be able to port huge games. There was rumors about a Red Dead Redemption 2 port to the Switch, and that's a game I could not even imagine like running on the Switch as it is now, on the Switch hardware. So if those rumors have any merit to them, to me, they're going to that has to give at least a bit of credence to this whole idea of a Switch Pro. So as far as we know, that's kind of been, like I said, sort of deconfirmed by Nintendo for at least 2020, but I still think it's coming. I think it's still possible that it could come in 2020, but either way, it's there, and we'll see what happens. There was huge rumors about the Switch Lite or the Switch Mini, and that has already happened too. So I think, like I said, I really think it would be pretty insane for them not to do it. So we'll see what happens. And of course, like I said, the Switch Pro means the bigger AAA games, which I really hope we get some of them. Like, I'd love to see some of these Resident Evil games ported. You know, I mentioned Red Dead Redemption 2. I'd love to see Grand Theft Auto 5. I'd love to see a lot of big games like that. You know, it'd be cool to see some Microsoft exclusives come to the Switch, and it's very possible given Microsoft and Nintendo's kind of buddy-buddy relationship that they've had recently. So yeah, like, to me, Switch Pro means better hardware, which means more games, which means yay. So here's hoping for the Switch Pro and for more AAA ports. Another thing that I wanted to talk about with this year is the idea of Switch Online. My first prediction is that Switch Online is still going to suck. I don't think they're going to improve it tremendously, but I do wonder if they're going to, like, what SNES and NES games they're going to add to it. And my idea is kind of, I'm wondering, you know, people talk about N64 games and stuff, but I kind of don't really see N64 games coming before, like, Game Boy games or even Game Boy Advance games. I'd like to see some of that as well. I don't like, as many people do, and I realize this is just, you know, adding more noise to the internet here, but I don't like the way that Nintendo drip feeds us these games, and I don't understand why we can't have, you know, let's say like a 10 or so games, you know, per classic system. You know, we get that at once and then drip feed us the games, versus like, here's some NES games. Okay, now here's a few NES games a month. Okay, now we're going to give you Super Nintendo games, and then we're going to stop giving you NES games. We're not going to give you monthly NES games, but here's Super NES games, and then we're going to update that like maybe every few months with more games. So I don't like the way they're doing it. I think that Switch Online is still going to continue to suck. I don't think they're going to have any kind of improvements, unfortunately, to the actual online service itself, you know, dedicated servers, what have you. I think we're still going to have ridiculously convoluted Nintendo Switch Online app, and, you know, there isn't going to be very good support. Unfortunately, I hate to be a cynic in these things, but it's just, I can't see Nintendo doing it unless they somehow make a drastic change to the Switch, you know, Switch's online. So again, I'm expecting that they will suck, but I'm going to give them a little credit, and I think that we're going to see at least a few more waves of NES and Super NES games. And if I were to guess, I would think that we would also get some, I think if we get anything new, we're going to get Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. That's my guess, but who knows? We'll see what they do. I would love some Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. I'd love N64 games, but that's on them, and we'll see what happens here in the near future. The other thing that I think we're going to get is more Microsoft ports, particularly indie ports, and maybe, I don't know if we're going to get any like big AAA games, unless, of course, again, those Switch Pro rumors are true. But I think we're going to get, you know, we got Cuphead, we got Ori, we've had Minecraft for a while on the Switch. I think we could expect more games kind of like that to come to the Switch this year. You know, we didn't see anything in the Indie Direct in terms of, you know, more Microsoft ports, but I think we're going to see something. If there's also been like whispers of like a new Banjo-Kazooie game, which would be really interesting to see like ported to the Switch as well, especially given the fact that Banjo is in Smash. I would love that if Rare made a new Banjo game and that was ported to the Switch. I also kind of have my doubts about it, but we'll see. I mean, maybe something like Ori Will of the Wisps, since they ported The Blind Forest, which I've been playing a lot of, by the way, and is awesome. But maybe they'll port that eventually to the Switch, you know, a few months or whatever after its release. I don't know, but I would personally love to see more Microsoft ports. I love the buddy-buddy relationship between Nintendo and Microsoft, and I think that's more. We're going to see more of that in the very near future as well. And the last thing I want to talk about before games is just a brief, for a second, because it's me, talk about a little bit of brief Smash DLC speculation, because of course that was the other big announcement and most recent announcement with, Byleth's reveal. I think that we are gonna definitely get, I don't think we'll get all 6 DLC characters this year. I think we're gonna get at least half of them, maybe 3 or 4 of them. I wouldn't be surprised if the first DLC character was at least announced at the next Nintendo Direct, which could be partly why they pushed it, that they didn't have it in January, and I think they'll probably have it in this month in February. I would hope anyway, before March, but we'll see. Because maybe they want to announce the next Smash DLC fighter, I don't know. But as far as like what fighters we can expect, I think this time we're going to see a bit more of a mixed bag. I think we're going to see more original Nintendo characters, plus maybe a few third-party characters. I almost want to say it's going to be like half and half, like maybe 3 Nintendo characters and 3 third-party characters. As far as what characters they are, at this point, after Byleth, after Terry, I have no clue. A lot of people really want Crash Bandicoot. A lot of people want Doom Guy. A lot of people, of course, want Geno and Sora and a lot of those characters. I personally would love to see more Nintendo characters that aren't Fire Emblem. I'd like to see something different. I imagine they'll tie at least a couple of those characters in to new releases, so we'll have to see what new games are going to be announced this year. But I'd be curious to see what characters, and it'll be really interesting to see what games that they announce, because that might give us a clue at least as to what characters we could maybe expect over the next year or so. But yeah, it's hard. I'm gonna say like maybe, I don't know, Crash, maybe a Xenoblade character, because we have the Xenoblade remake coming out. I wouldn't doubt if there's some kind of Mario character. Other than that, I don't know. Maybe a Pokemon character even, to be honest, because of Sword and Shield. Like, I can almost guarantee there will be another Pokemon. But we'll see. Who knows? Sakurai's always got something up his sleeve. I hope it's Geno, but I'm also not going to hold my breath for that either. There's still that Mii costume. There was that Mii costume leak that did not get deconfirmed yet, that had Mii costumes of Mallow and that character from Doom. So if that isn't deconfirmed and that's legit, maybe that's hinting towards Geno and Doom Guy. I have no idea. I'd also personally like to see a Resident Evil character that would be like really cool, but who knows. So that's about as far as my DLC speculation goes for right now, but maybe I'll make another video about that in the future. So now I want to talk about games. This is the thing that's killing me right now. I watched Arlo's video, and he was talking about like what the big, that Nintendo really doesn't have a huge holiday title, or even really holiday lineup for the end of this year yet. Because last year we had Luigi's Mansion 3, Link's Awakening kind of came out at the end of summer. We had Dragon Quest 11, you had Astral Chain, you had Pokemon Sword and Shield. There was a nice batch of games that came out at the end of the year, and the year before, we also had like Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, we had Smash, and I believe Mario Party came out that year, and before that we had Mario Odyssey. So we've had some pretty heavy hitters around the holiday season, and there's nothing that they've announced really that I can imagine would be the big holiday heavy hitter, aside from maybe Breath of the Wild 2. I think maybe, it's possible that Breath of the Wild 2 could be released by the end of the year. That it's not like they have to recreate the game from scratch. They could obviously use Breath of the Wild's assets and, engine and everything to, make Breath of the Wild 2. But who knows how far in development they are. I mean, it's very possible that we won't see Breath of the Wild 2 until next year. But as of now, if I were to place a bet, I would agree with, and Arlo said this in his video too, I would agree with Arlo that, like, based on what we know, Breath of the Wild 2 has got to be the closest thing that I can conjure that I would imagine would be even close to a holiday title. I mean, it's certainly not going to be Xenoblade or something like No More Heroes 3 or anything. And nothing against any of those franchises, but they're not, they're not Mario, they're not Zelda, they're not, Pokemon. They're not these huge monster franchises that, will sell consoles around Christmas time. So I'm really curious as to what we're going to see. And that being said, I kind of did like a little list here of some of Nintendo's franchises and, you know, what we can expect and whatnot. So I'm going to go down the list, and we'll see what we have here. So the first thing I want to say is I think we're going to get 1 or 2 Wii U ports. If I were to guess, my money would be on Pikmin 3 and Super Mario 3D World. Those are the 2 that I would really guess, because Mario games sell like hotcakes. Mario 3D World's probably the biggest game from the Wii U that has not been ported yet. And honestly, I would love that. They have real potential there to like expand it, much like they did with Tropical Freeze and what they did with New Super Mario Bros. U. They could easily like add another character. Like Yoshi would be awesome. Add Yoshi as a playable character to Super Mario 3D World. Awesome. He can have his flutter jump and everything, and can eat enemies. That would be really, really cool. Add some more, like some, you know, an extra world or 2. That would be really awesome. Yeah, it could be super easy to you know, add a bunch of stuff to Super Mario 3D World. And it was so popular and did so well, even by the Wii U standards, that they'd be kind of nuts to not port that, especially if they've already ported the, I'm sorry, inferior New Super Mario Bros. U. I can't see them not porting Super Mario 3D World. So I think that's kind of a shoo-in. And I think Pikmin 3 might be the other one, or possibly even Yoshi's Woolly World. That one also did really well, and I don't see why they wouldn't. I don't see them making a new Yoshi game anytime soon, so porting Woolly World seems like a no-brainer to me. So, I don't know. That's something, again, they could add more to. I would love more content to Yoshi's Woolly World. And there's tons of other games that, you know, people have talked about as far as Wii U ports go. I mean, there's Star Fox Zero that they could do if they change the controls. There's Xenoblade Chronicles X, and there's still a few games left, but my money would definitely go to Pikmin 3 or Super Mario 3D World, or maybe even Wind Waker or HD or Twilight Princess HD. But for some reason, I don't see that happening. I don't know why. So yeah, Pikmin 3 or Super Mario 3D World. As far as the different franchises go, let's just start off with Mario here. So I think we're going to get Super Mario 3D World as a Wii U port. And I gotta be honest, I think there's going to be a Mario game this year. That's my guess. Now, the big rumor is that there's going to be a Paper Mario that's really been going around the internet a lot lately. There's going to be a new mainline Paper Mario game in the old style of Paper Mario, featuring the old RPG mechanics that were, you know, in Paper Mario and Thousand Year Door. I even heard for a very short time that it was going to be a remake of the very first Paper Mario, which I would love because it's my favorite Paper Mario game. But now it seems the rumors are swaying more towards a brand new Paper Mario game, which I'm totally open for. A new, like, turn-based Paper Mario game? Oh yeah, definitely. I'd love to see some characters return from, honestly, all the games. I'm even, as I've said before, I'm a huge fan of Color Splash. Even if, like, the rumor's off and they ported Color Splash, but they just changed the battle system in Color Splash, that would be amazing. They would have a really solid Paper Mario game if they just changed the battle system. Simple. That game had great writing. It was fun, but the battle system was horrible. So, yeah, just change that up. You got a solid Paper Mario game. Either way, I hope the Paper Mario rumors are correct, because that could potentially be a pretty big game, like first-party game for Nintendo, and could be a real return to form for the series. So I would love to see that. So I think Paper Mario is possible. The other thing I'm wondering is if, honestly, if we're about due for a new 3D Mario game, or some really heavy DLC for Super Mario Odyssey. Could that be Super Mario Odyssey 2? Possibly. HD remake of Mario Sunshine or Mario Galaxy, maybe. But what I would like to see, and I think this would go really well with a Wii U port of Super Mario 3D World, would be Super Mario 3D World 2. That would be quite interesting. Or a game sort of akin to that. I don't know. But I think a 3D Mario game might be what's the big holiday title. I don't know. If it's not Breath of the Wild 2, I can't imagine what other franchise is big enough to fill that gap. And unless there's some other Pokemon game that's coming out, like, it's very possible that, you know, these Diamond and Pearl remakes are coming, but they're not going to announce it until closer to E3. That's very possible. But I also feel a little bit on the fence about that, just because Game Freak has been working on this DLC. It seems this pretty hefty DLC. So we'll see what happens. But my money is on a new Mario title, and that would be really exciting to me if we got some kind of new Mario game. Some other games, some other series. I'm just gonna go down the list here real quick. We have Donkey Kong here. I feel like that's not out of the realm of possibility, but most likely, I would imagine, Retro is quite busy developing Metroid Prime 4, so I kind of doubt that we're going to get a new Donkey Kong game. I'd be overjoyed. That would be a really awesome little thing, but I don't think it's likely. Star Fox also seems unlikely, a new Star Fox title. The exception of that maybe being a Switch port of Star Fox Zero for Wii U, because it seems like they did put a lot of time and effort into that game, and it kind of just, flopped. But maybe if they fixed the controls a little bit and marketed it well, Star Fox Zero for Switch could potentially sell well. So who knows? But yeah, that's as far as like a new mainline Star Fox game, I highly doubt it with how poorly Star Fox Zero did, and also unfortunately how poorly Starlink Battle for Atlas did, which featured a lot of featured the Star Fox characters. That franchise just hasn't done well, unfortunately. But so we'll see, but I highly doubt it. A new Kirby game seems very likely. I think it's going to be kind of like a mainline Kirby game, akin to Kirby Star Allies or something. I love like a Kirby Superstar-esque game, like a party pack kind of game, like Kirby Superstar, or something different. How about a Kirby 64 remake? I would buy that. That would be a Kirby game that I would actually buy on launch, because Kirby 64 is a great game. So I don't know. I think we will see something Kirby, though. That franchise does pretty consistently well, and it's been a couple years now since Star Allies, so I imagine we can expect a Kirby game at some point. I don't think we're going to get any Fire Emblem games because of how recently Three Houses came out. We are also getting that DLC, so sorry, Fire Emblem fans. I really doubt that we're going to get a new Fire Emblem game. Splatoon 3 I think is unlikely. Splatoon 3 and Mario Kart I feel like are both actually unlikely, because I can't see them releasing another like Splatoon 3 this console generation. I don't see why, unless they do some like drastic changes. They could just keep putting DLC out for Splatoon 2 as far as I'm concerned, and same with Mario Kart. And then there's Pikmin, which my money is Pikmin 3. There's Pikmin 4 apparently wasn't, they announced it ages ago now, before the Switch was even released. Who knows if it still exists? I don't know. But I think if we get anything, it'll probably be a Pikmin 3 port. We'll see. There was also rumors about it. I don't know. And then as far as Metroid goes, one of my favorite franchises, I think that the rumors are true, and I hope that the rumors are true, that we are getting a new 2D Metroid. That would be probably, potentially, by Game of the Year, if it's true. The rumors originally said it was going to be a Super Metroid remake, and now it sounds like it's going to either be... It's tied to Fusion in some way, based on these rumors. Who knows if they're true or not, I don't know. But I've often wondered, since Metroid Samus Returns was released, and did quite well, actually, especially for being end of, the 3DS's lifespan. I've wondered if Mercury Steam would make a second one. I hope they are, and I thought they did a great job with Samus Returns, so I would like to see that. So yeah, if that is true, I would love, I would be overjoyed to see a 2D Metroid released this year. That would be awesome. I don't care what it is. A remake of Fusion would be fine to me, but I hope it's Metroid 5. Just something, apparently it's tied to Fusion, so that doesn't necessarily mean it could just take place like right after Fusion or something like that in the timeline. I don't know, but I would be so hyped for a 2D Metroid. I really like gobbled up Samus Returns, and the 2D Metroid and the Metroid franchise as a whole is one of my favorite franchises ever. So yeah, it would be pretty hype. I also hope we get the rumored Metroid Prime trilogy this year. I really hope so. But guys, I don't think we're getting Metroid Prime 4. I think if we're lucky, we'll get it at the end of 2021. But even that's pushing it. I think it might be like a couple years off, to be quite honest. It's only been a year since they basically announced that they had to restart it from scratch. So I highly doubt they got it done this year. The other thing that I'm wondering if we're gonna get is some kind of Mario spin-off game. I think if we do, I think it's time for Mario Golf. Not only because I want to see a Mario Golf game, but I can't imagine that Camelot's just been sitting there with their twiddling their thumbs. I imagine they've been doing something since Mario Tennis Aces, aside from just the occasional DLC for it. So I would love to see if there, I'd love a new Mario Golf or even a new Mario Strikers or something would be cool. But yeah, that's my prediction for as far as Mario spin-offs go. I think it's still a bit too early for Mario Party, and I don't think Mario Kart is coming at all this gen. So we'll see. As far as that goes, guys, I don't really know otherwise. I'm kind of stumped. I mean, they could pull something out of left field. You imagine a Mother game developed by Toby Fox. How's that sound? You want me to go pie in the sky? Or Mother 3 finally coming? Or a new F-Zero or something? I don't know. Or a new Golden Sun? I don't think any of those are happening, to be honest. But I am curious to see what happens and how many of these rumors are true and what we get. Because, again, the great mystery of what is Nintendo's holiday lineup going to be. Nobody knows. So I'm really stoked and looking forward to whenever the next Nintendo Direct is. And yeah, what do you guys think? What are your thoughts? What games do you think we're getting? I hope we get something good. I hope the Nintendo Online service doesn't suck so badly. And I hope we also get a bunch of good third-party games. We'll see. But until then, guys, I don't know. I'll keep my fingers crossed for some good stuff. And in the meantime, thanks everybody for watching this video. I appreciate it. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys are hoping for, what you think is going to happen. And until then, see you later, guys. Peace.